I'm gonna wait until. Wake up, baby! NSA agent is streaming right now. True. Well, guys, I be waiting. I be booing. I be fooling. I be pee pee pooing. Ligma, 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 bum. Don't worry, y'all. We learning. I need to make a new thumbnail for this. I gotta do a poll later. I think so. Right now, I'm having a struggle using Cubes OS. With a 2K resolution screen, but I'm gonna reach out to Nova Custom and ask them if I could order and waste more money because I'm retarded and I don't read. If I can order the full HD display, if I can order the full HD display and change out the screen from a 2K to a 10 full HD, well, from a 2K display to a full HD, that would be based and cool. And hopefully, man, I'm really sad that Linus Torvald endorsed Fedora. Now I can't. Now I can't. Now I can't. No, I can't make fun of Fedora. That reminds me of a short I made where I had the Pine phone with Fedora on it, and I tossed it in the trash. It was pretty funny, actually. Pretty based and cool and funny. And it was a top short. Oh, man, I forgot about that one. Oh, man. And good evening, fellas. NSA, FBI, true. What up with my fucking counter telling me I'm at 0, though? Damn you, internet. I will say, pee pee poo poo wise, I am upset that I was too retarded and I couldn't read. We're gonna read more darknet Bible stuff, most definitely. Later, later, Billy. Billy saw the word read, and he was out. Hey man, how do you play Red Dead Redemption on Linux? Bottles, Proton. I do. I just use Proton, Glorious Egg Roll. And there's a few other options. All right. So the Proton way to go for Linux? Yeah, most of it. I think the only game I've ever had with was Hitman. Actually, I had to do some funky stuff in the command line. And I don't. I like gaming on Void has been straight. I thought it was gonna be bad. No System D, but I've played tons of games. I remember playing Hitman Absolution in middle school. Yeah, Hitman's great. It's actually like super awesome. It's probably the best. The best game that I ever really enjoyed. That and Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell was pretty fucking based. I was a huge Splinter Cell fan. R.I.P. I wish it would have came back. All right, we're gonna start in a second, guys. This is the pre. This is the precursor. Can I go in here? Mute. No, the mute. This will be funny. I wish I could just change it to. Damn. Man, I'm funny. Do. Motherfuckers online. There's a new Splinter Cell animation series on Netflix. What the fuck? See, this is what happens when you just pirate everything. I'm kidding, YouTube. I need to check that out. That's based, actually. Man, I miss all the cool shit too. All right, we're gonna get started. We're gonna learn about privacy laxism. Was the last thing that we talked about. And the thing is, when you are laxed about privacy and you have a comfort zone, this is where you can make mistakes. This is where you can. This is essentially what gets hackers or people that are in that space caught when they're doing even just legal activities or activities that they feel. Code, thank you, I appreciate it. You didn't have to. Cracking beans, brother. Now I have to smoke crack, guys. Live IRL. Thank you, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. The thing about privacy is you have to treat it kind of like, again, in a actual sense. You can't mess up any times. Adversaries and federal institutions and even just threat actors, they only have to fuck up one. They can fuck up 1,000,000 times. You can only fuck up one time. You should fuck up no times, but you can only fuck up one time. So it's it's something that you should learn to do. You should treat it like you should treat it like if you're a hunter or if you're a gatherer or if you want to blend into the crowd. And you do that pretty much by only a few things. You blend in with the crowd and you use Tor because it makes you look like everyone else. You type a specific way like everyone else so that it enforces you to look like everyone else. I mean, there's typing analysis where they've uncovered some correlation with another correlation with another correlation in order to de-anonymize people. So even the way you type is unique. And throughout this series, I'm going to sound like a broken record because most of this stuff is not just I wouldn't call it common sense, but most of it is very repetitive. Like using PGP, making sure you're keeping your private key as secure as possible. Knowing how to make sure that you are essentially talking to the person you are talking to, and spreading out your resources not so thin that you make mistakes. Compartmentalization is the goal. Even though that CubesOS offers a high level of compartmentalization, it doesn't offer a high level of anonymity because there is no way to forensically wipe any of the disposable VMs. The developers themselves have even come to this conclusion that if you care about a high level of anonymity, TailsOS is probably your best option for anonymity, and for security, it's probably CubesOS. So that's something to keep in mind. So we're going to look at this. There's the comfort zone, feel safe and in control, and then there's the growth zone. Set new goals, realize aspirations, acquire new skills, funds, etc., etc. Why privacy laxism is dangerous. Privacy laxism is dangerous in more than one. First, it can put you directly at risk. For example, if you're browsing the internet for activities considered illegal in your country, even if people agree with it or not. I mean, there's certain countries where weed is punishable by death. Like, that's crazy, which I think that's just insane. You could face legal consequences. That could have been avoided by taking privacy seriously. I'm not encouraging anyone to do illegal things, but I'm also not here to police your choices, which is true. What I will say, though, is if you want to stay safe, don't be laxism about privacy. Using a VPN to hide your activity on Google Chrome while logged into your Google account is just as risky as browsing without a VPN at all. Running Linux for security while buying illegal items on Snapchat is equally as pointless when it comes to privacy. This is something that I've said for a very long time that I will drill into people's heads. Logging into an account with a VPN does nothing. That's it. There's so many. It's like almost it should be pointed with red flags. I will even say to rage bait the internet. Yeah, like logging into a site that knows you with a VPN. I wouldn't even know what to equate to that. Logging into a site that knows you with a VPN for privacy is like it's like fucking your sister with a condom. Both are dumb. Both are bad choices. I don't know if I want to put that on the internet. Someone might take it out of context. Is Whonex not very private too? On top of host else like more than Tails VM maybe. Whonex is about as private as you make it. If you're on a host operating system that is not private like Windows, you kind of aren't really achieving anything. Your better option is just to use TailsOS. Whonex is kind of like Bitcoin. It's pseudo-anonymous, but there's too many steps you have to take in order to maintain a high level of privacy. I, again, don't know why the fuck they endorse Oracle. And I do not know why the fuck they built it on Debian. Debian sucks. Just realized that life is full of mistakes. Then, wait, what? Like, logging into an account with your VPN, with a VPN that you, even if you paid with Monero, and you fucking log into an account that knows you, it's kind of, it's kind of like driving without a seatbelt. I don't even know how to. It's like driving with no license in a car that's registered to you. Like, yeah, the person initially might come over and be like, I don't know who you are, but they can just, like, look up your fucking car with your name attached to it. It's like, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Fingerprinting is just so good now, and I think people take that for granted. It's so good. Our old techniques and old way of thinking needs to be erased. You need to get away from the idea of like everything is going to be ironclad private. It's not. You just got to, like, my general advice is anything that you ship to your house that is not legally required to have your real name on it, and again, broken record moment, do not put your real fucking name. Ever. It's retarded. Use Amazon. If you use Amazon lockers. You don't need to give an ID for it. I think they just give you a code. There's an article of VirtualBox versus KVM for Unix on Unix website. They have good reason, but they use a Type 2 hypervisor. Seems like they declare. Oh, okay. Interesting. I think KVM is closer to hardware, though. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just something to take into context is you need to just put out fake information. Unless you're a public figure, then put out fucking dummy information, like private your accounts, etc., etc. KVM is turning the kernel into a hypervisor, I believe. Yeah, I think that KVM is. I believe KVM is just. No, yeah, QEMU, I believe. I think is closer to bare metal. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, though. Maybe we'll do a KVM virtualization rabbit hole on how it works. That'd be kind of cool. Gvisor is kind of sick. I would like to test it out at some point, etc. So the weakest link. Back to reading. Woo. Yeah, and doing like people that do stuff illegally on Snapchat, fucking retarded. They're like, guys, I have a VPN on, and I just bought meth off fucking Snapchat. It's like, my dog, you did nothing. You did, like, you're everything else can point to you. It's not just, people just, again, take the IP address way out of context. Now, law enforcement can, like, obviously trace a lot of things back, and we're going to read about the Patriot Act. Woo! Major components of the U.S. Patriot Act, the greatest thing that the U.S. ever has done. Enhanced surveillance procedures. Expanded wiretapping and electronic surveillance without a warrant to monitor phone calls, emails, and internet activity to prevent future attacks. And this is somewhat of an argument. And by the way, guys, we're going to talk about this in a second. I might open up a session. So I have a Simple X. I have a Simple X server. I might endorse session again. I've been a huge fucking fuck them kind of thing. We're gonna get into that in a moment. I think they did a W finally. Did you see that LLM4 Meta AI embedded into WhatsApp today? Yeah, spyware ring bells. Yeah, I want state funding money ring bells is what it's really fucking saying. I think it's beyond the spyware part. They just want, like, because any partnership that happens with fucking insert AI, it's like their stock goes burr. Money, start printing, baby, start printing. But I did not see that, so it's I'll just say it. I just want to say so many unhinged things that sponsorships never even come after me. I mean, this is why I don't have my email public, because I don't want to get. I just hear. I talk to a lot of, like, some other I've talked to other YouTubers in this space, and they're like, oh yeah, the shit that I get sent to me is fucking insane. So financial regulation and anti-money laundering measures required by the financial institution reporting currency transactions over a specific amount of money, implementing anti-money laundering programs, and maintaining records of customer identifiable information. Wow, super awesome. So imagine if you send over, I think in the US it's like anything over 10K. Which in my opinion is crazy. Like, what costs under fucking 10K? Oh, here you go. Straight from the IRS, baby. Oh, they don't like Tor. Ooh. Let's see if the internet. Damn. Or maybe the IRS 10K understanding the Form 830 and reporting cash transactions. The U.S. Treasury is changing its program to track more bank accounts in America in an effort to prevent wealthy taxpayers from evading taxes. That's fucking bunch of bullshit. They do it all the time. Reject all. What a good website. I like when they have the reject all, even if it does nothing. Just let me reject all. From evading taxes after a strong opposition from the financial sector and the conservative lawmakers. As per a proposal which was initially presented in May, banks would submit multiple news pieces, this is from 2024, of information from U.S. bank accounts, the total amount of money coming and going account broken down by transfers. Treasury on Tuesday proposed a new threshold for tracking bank accounts with more than 600 in inflows and outflows, after first suggesting an account would be flagged for the IRS reporting if it transferred totaled more than 10K in a single year. Ooh. That's a lot. That's not even a lot of money, man. Like, it's like you could buy a fucking car for 10K. So, Board of Security and Immigration Control establishing an electronic system to monitor visa holders' entry, exit from the U.S. to prevent terrorists from exploiting the immigration system. I mean, like, that could just be used. I mean, it's always going to be an overreach. Unfortunately, there's always going to be some form of overreach that's going to reach into the pockets. It first starts with, oh, we're doing this to monitor illegal and legal immigrants, and then it's like, oh, we're going to do this to monitor you, legal immigrants, and then it's going to be to monitor legal citizens. I mean, it doesn't stop. There's no stop to it. because someone's always going to be like, we can take this further. I mean, the Patriot Act was like, we could do this in private. So just take that into perspective. Some of these influencers will evolve and become more knowledgeable over time, while others may not. Well, while we want to emphasize the mistakes have happened, we're all wrong at some point. So even though we're not going to hold our breath to point the finger, current ocean bullshit opsec advice and who the culprits are, keep in mind that we should judge these influencers how they react to the criticism. If they acknowledge that their mistake and work towards improvement for themselves, for their own communities, rest assured that we'll never mention it below. We'll give credit where credit's due. However, if it's our criticism to naively receive, we'll leave it as it's currently below as a permanent black stain on their reputation. We don't care. If you notice that an influencer is being laxed on their advice on privacy and not going into enough detail, don't hesitate to reach out to them if possible. If they are honest and truly committed to privacy, they should be open to correcting their mistakes quickly if the blah, blah, blah. The Dunning-Kruger effect. People who know very little about something often think they know more about it than they do. Experts more they're aware of. Peak of mountain, stupid. Valley of despair. Slope of alignment. Plateau of sustainability. Plateau of sustainability based. This is something true that like a lot of people will make suggestions on, like, people still say that so here's a good example. People will sit there and say Signal is a honeypot with zero evidence, or Monero can be traced with zero evidence. And the Monero with being traced is not Monero itself being traced, it's all these other things around there. I have brain rot from studying JavaScript arrow functions. I'm sorry that you even study JavaScript. JavaScript bad. JavaScript hater here. We use LibreJS, LibreJS only. So the main core problem is people will make extreme claims. They'll point to people's bad opsec or advice that's already well known and very easy to understand and implement, and they will say this is a bad product, this is a shit system, use this other thing. Session, for a long time, I have been critical that it doesn't have perfect word secrecy. I think that is a dunk and an L and super lame. Other people have agreed that Signal of LibreJS, yes, LibreJS based, the JavaScript destroyer. People will say that Monero, Monero is traceable. They've found a way to trace it XYZ. And then they prove no evidence, or they show something that points to no, like a nothing burger. Like there was the guy that was selling federal government papers. He got sent a specific amount of Bitcoin and then exported it to a Coinbase wallet like a fucking retard. Like if somebody sends you 759,362 cents. That's a very specific number that's going to be in your account. And because it's a fucking specific number, no shit, that's a very specific... It's not a round number that, like, if it was $9,000 isn't that really fucking alarming. But if it's $9,102.36.42.18, that's specific. That looks unique. It's not just a random number. They picked that for a reason. And again, if he would have just swapped it to Monero and slowly, over time, released it to a Bitcoin, like exchanged it for Bitcoin and OKYC wallets, and then slowly leaked it to his bank account, he'd be fine. Or he could just live off fucking Bitcoin. There's tons of countries that allow you to buy stuff with Bitcoin, like quite literally. I mean, it's not an illegal currency. It can't be illegal. You can't make Bitcoin illegal. So, just throwing that out there. Why are they laxist? Like, I'm pretty I'm pretty hardcore on my free and open source software to like a certain degree. Like I have to have again, I have to have Gmail in order to use YouTube, but I use a free and open source email client, and with it, if I ever message somebody, it's through PGP, and I don't even give out that email really. There's no point in it. It's not that like, I mean, even if someone discovered it, it's whatever, but I try to separate a lot of that stuff and compartmentalize. I tell people to use end-to-end encrypted communications as I do. And actually, I will even endorse the idea that it's okay to be wrong, not only just wrong and find other services, it's okay to make a compromise somewhere where it doesn't matter and your privacy is not at risk and or a threat. Like if you, what are you talking about? Traceable Monero arguments? Is paranoid Linux enthusiast after 6 beers? No, there was someone I had an argument with on Twitter saying that Monero was he's 80% traceable. Like I think he was just rage baiting or he's retarded. I mean, they could be just rage baiting or retarded. But they linked to the qubit thing, which didn't show any form of linkability and traceability. And for the longest time, we've known Monero's biggest weakness right now is not having the FMPC++, but they want to roll it out and make sure it's correct and make sure it's secure and make sure it's done right, which I think software should take that as an approach. Like you don't just release something, especially something that important. And then on top of it, everyone knows to use specific, like run your own node. There's no, right now, if somebody, I'm going to timestamp this. Can I timestamp this live? I can't. What timestamp am I at? Fuck. Damn. I'm going to find a way to timestamp this. Can I timestamp this? I can't do it live, can I? Fuck. Damn. I will find a way to timestamp this. I think I can kind of see. I'm at, let me see, I'm at 37 minutes and 25 seconds. 37. Can I do this? Well, let me. I don't know if that's going to do a timestamp. If it does, awesome. If not, I'll figure it out later. I'll do it at a different time. I'll do it after the stream. No worries. So, if you do not run your own node in 2025, you are doing yourself a disservice. It is not hard. It is not expensive. It is not time consuming. You can do it in the cloud. You can do it at home. You can do it on inexpensive hardware. You can do it on your computer. You can download the Monero GUI wallet and do it. There is no excuse to not run a node in 2025. At any point, if someone tells me they're not running a Monero node, they are one of three things. It is illegal to self-host in your country and you will be caught. You are lazy. You don't care. That simple. If it is illegal in your country, get a VPS. If it is, there's actually, I think, there's Monero node hosting. I really do. Run a Monero node. Run a Monero node. I wonder if I can just saying. Even if you don't like Monero and you're not a Monero stan, run a Monero node. Run a Tor node. Actually, just run a Tor node too. Like, Run nodes. Be self-sovereign. You can get really cheap Monero nodes. It's not even expensive to run a Tor node. You can run it for like pennies on the dollar. Just throwing that out there. Okay, but I digress. I've ranted into the soulless internet for a second. So they're lazy. First off, some of them are simply lazy. When it comes to explaining how browsing the internet privately, it's much easier to focus on one or two flashy tools instead of covering the full process. Recommending just use Tor browser and a VPN is short and looks easier than explaining what you should start with, why you should start with Linux, how to properly install and configure it. But this shortcut shows you that they don't want to put real effort into their content, and that's the case. Maybe they're not doing it for the right reason. In this video, Tekla is showing casing 10 privacy tools he can't live without. In this video, the influencer discusses privacy tools like MFA, YubiKey password managers, privacy screen protectors, and VPNs. These are all useful tools and give you part of a solid privacy strategy, but here's the issue. When showcasing YubiKey, Tekla uses on a MacBook. He's right. He's trusting Mac. It's closed source software. There's a major issue here. We know that you can't have privacy with using Mac OS since the host OS is closed source. Yet by showing the influencer is leading the audience to a false sense of operational security, implying that they can have privacy without switching to a false host OS like Linux. Like we've explained above, this is like trying to start the opsec alphabet with B instead of A. Setting up a Linux machine should have been the obvious first step. They should have told their community to do so, but no. They went in and decided it's a good idea to talk about privacy on a closed source OS where privacy is impossible to achieve in the first place. Look, when you're making a 12-minute video to cover 10 different tools and you already got a minute locked into the sponsor, down for the sponsor, there's not much left to talk about Linux. It's true. I think sponsorships are, I have my personal opinion on sponsorships. I've been thinking about the sponsorship thing more and more. I realized if you diversify your income stream and you don't have 30 editors in a studio and all this expensive shit, you can quite literally be efficient on YouTube ads and donations if you want to, and then selling stuff if you need to. You could be probably sustainable. The only exception I could maybe make is if you're a very risque type of content where you are getting, it's called the yellow dollar, where you will get kind of demonetized to a certain degree, and you will get less ad revenue. Like if you say retard within the first 30 seconds, YouTube will be like, this is not advertiser friendly, brother, and we are going to deduct your money. YouTube takes 30%, I believe, and gives you 70% of everything. So say you're doing I've heard some channels that are very niched that will make like $10K a month. Like Mental Outlaw, I don't know what he's making. He's probably making more from his show based.win because he's one of the bigger ones. Him, DistroTube, I think is up there. They're probably at least pulling 5 to 6K a month. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing. What is Social? Social Blade is not really accurate. Man, my ADHD be kicking in. We're going to read about our buddy Ross, though. So, accept, I guess. Guys, don't use JavaScript. Don't use JavaScript either. So distro. Wait. DT. Ooh. got two. It's kind of interesting. He's only got like 271K subscribers, and Mental Outlaw has almost 500,000. I wonder why. Oh God. Either he's making 1,400 a year or 2K. Interesting. Thank you. No script. What's I think we looked at Mental Outlaws. I wonder what Mental Outlaw is bringing. He's either bringing 100K or 5K a year. What the fuck is that? Man, what the hell is that? That is fucking lame. Wow, that's a nightmare. The fuck is mental family? The hell is that? $2 million views, and this motherfucker is only making night. What the hell? It's always between. I mean, I think that reason is Mental Allah has the ha. Yeah, it's probably. I'm thinking too little about it. It's definitely the haha funny post. What's another popular Linux? What does Tekla probably make? It's got to be something. They're either making $1,000 or $23,000. Maybe more. They got to be making more than that. Motherfuckers, I think they live in LA. I'm trying to think of the biggest Linux YouTubers. Just like the funnies of some Morning Gamers, people like YouTube memes. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I wonder what. The only thing about Some Ordinary Gamers is Mudahar says this isn't his full-time job and makes 17 minutes. Motherfucker either makes 30 grand a year or 500K. That's crazy number jumps. Yeah. Okay. Enough at looking at YouTube money. It's never biggest Linux YouTuber might be Some Ordinary Gamers. Yeah. I wouldn't call him a Yeah, I mean, he does Linux content, but he would be considered a big Linux enjoyer. Actually, no, PewDiePie. Isn't PewDiePie bigger? He is now a Linux user. Guys, I made it. I fucking cracked it. I just gotta be like PewDiePie. I just gotta scream and learn more and enjoy Linux. Okay, complete Windows guide. I think this is a malicious intent. A privacy influencer that of his caliber who's been actively recommending people to use Monero to his credit has been technologically illiterate enough to know that the software being FOSS is fundamentally a requirement in achieving privacy. Don't agree with that because there is definitely FOSS FOSS software that has not been private. Yet he's pretending as if there's privacy is possible to achieve in Windows or Mac OS, despite being obviously aware that he's not possible in the first place. This is despicable behavior. Because of those two videos, his audience is being led to a false sense of privacy. PewDiePie is a Hyperland enthusiast. Never mind. Everyone needs to unsubscribe from him. Hyperland is garbage. I'm a Hyperland hater. There's like a list of hating things I have. And Hyperland is one of them. I wonder if I can... No. I wonder if I can do that. No. There we go. That's funny. Tried anti-gravity by Google. That's funny. PewDiePie is a... I just need to everyone to know that I'm a Hyperland hater. And Debian and Hyperland hater. Void Linux. I don't like XFC either. I hate XFC, to be honest. I just can't stand it. It just looks like shit. But I like low RAM usage, so I'm like, open box. It is. It looks prettier. Okay. True. The opsec alphabet starts with A, not B. The letter in A of the alphabet of the opsec dictates the host OS needs to be replaced first. Windows and Mac OS must be replaced with a Linux host OS. A stock Android OS must be replaced with Graphene OS, and then only privacy is possible in achievement. The issue with that is this type of elitism and understanding is that a user, if they have bad security hygiene and they use Linux, and Linux has, again, not the greatest security policies out the gate, you are fundamentally putting people at risk by telling them to go use Linux, but not know how to actually secure Linux, not this fucking install uncomplicated firewall and close off port 22, change port 22. You know what I mean? It's just security theater at that point. I like Parrot OS, XFCE kind of Mate Desktop a lot. Look, it's not distro wars, it's desktop environment wars, man. Look at OpenBox. Look at that rice. Only the bitches could love. This is open box, baby. I don't fucking know anything about dot files. I don't care about dot files. Ew, Debian, though. On a fundamental level. But this is open box rice. Look how clean that looks. Only a beautiful woman could love this. Imagine if you did OpenBox with Parrot OS. I might go if I can't swap out the screen with good resolution, bro. I default on port UFW and disable SSH port 20. Is it bad practice? I didn't know. I was memeing. So all these guides that tell you how to lock down your system, they talk about it from a server perspective, and they say change port, like your SSH port. They say install uncomplicated firewalls. Fundamentally, don't block it. Firewalls are kind of, how to explain it from a networking perspective. Firewalls, from even the series Don't Stop Dragons, is kind of true. You can create a good firewall policies. It doesn't mean anything. They can be. It's not. How to explain it? They don't stop dragons. I'll put it that way. In order to secure your software at a fundamental level, you have to make good SE Linux policies. SE Linux policies is the only way, and removing root user access or sudo at the bare minimum, and sandboxing everything, like using Flatpaks with Flatseal to tighten and maybe lose some permissions, is the only true way you can increase Linux security. There's no way possible. Uncomplicated firewall is cool until you have malware on one of your applications because you ran it as administrator. There's not a lot of good Mac address, like media access control policies, and there's not a lot of good guides on how to write your own policies. Like, you got to learn how to write your own AppArmor, even AppArmor. Like, you have to go down. Yeah, exactly. I was saying, you have to know how to write AppArmor. If you're writing good AppArmor policies, and preferably get away from sudo, use like do as is a little bit better. Any run is any run or run zero. I forget which. I think it's run zero, or is it any run? I think it's run zero is what it's. Why am I? Coming soon, YouTube channel. Linux Lorem. Run zero is a introduction in System D, and it was intended to alternative to sudo. Both commands elevate privileges, but somewhat different. Some describe run zero as somewhat more similar to the SSH command than sudo, which is kind of weird. And then it's supposed to be so this is another one, is set UID and set GID file access. That's another thing that happens that's not good. I mean, Linux had the poll kit issue. And then when possible, the authentication prompt is isolated from the terminal. This is done via poll kit authentication. There was that poll kit vulnerability that was sitting in Linux for like 20 years. That's what I'm saying. Linux isn't just this secure, mystical operating system. It's I see Linux policies are better. I mean, Red Hat, I hate to say it, Fedora and Red Hat really shoved down the idea of how to create a secure system. Again, people get these ideas because they think they use server logic. They use their make sure VPN and make sure change port and turn on fire, like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not good enough. If you want actual advice, it's update your system, update your firmware all the way down to your BIOS like level firmware. Make sure that's updated. Having a good trusted platform module on Linux would be better. Changing sudo, like not having like a sudo user. OpenSUSE I think has good. They have native SE Linux policies. CLF control flow integrity is another thing that lacks from a lot of Linux distros. Damn you, Red Hat. Like here, allow Apache process, Apache log file, read. Each SE Linux policy rules describes an interaction between the process and the system resource. You can read the example. The Apache process can read its logging file. This rule, Apache process and Apache logs are labeled, and as SE Linux security policies assign label processes are defined relations to the system resource. This way, a policy maps operating system entities to the SE Linux layer. SE Linux labels are stored extended attribute file systems such as ext2. You can list them using the getfatter, that's funny, utility, or ls-tac-z, capital Z, command, for example. Where system U is SE Linux user object, here's even better, using it. Prevent users from processing and performing unauthorized interactions with files and devices by using Security Enhanced Linux. By configuring SE Linux, you can enhance your system's security. SE Linux is an implementation of mandatory access control, MAC, and provided an additional layer of security. The SE Linux policy defines how users and processes can interact with the files. That is important. If certain users and processes have unlimited access, then lots of bad things can happen. Lots of pee-pee-poo things, which you don't want. But I'll be right back. I gotta grab some water. Open sauce, guys. I'm back. Don't worry. Apologies for the 10-minute delay. I will pay back in haha funnies. Damn. Motherfucker needs a tiny screwdriver in this bitch. And good thing I got one. Alright. But that's like pretty much SE Linux policies. Y'all get it. I mean, I could... Ooh, this is a good one. Think security. This is why exchanges freeze your crypto. The influencer mentions our blog, suggests that even if we're giving good advice, you don't need to follow our tutorials unless you're an El Chapo. What the fuck? He also claims that using a VPN, Monero, and decentralized exchanges is enough to stay private. This is why exchanges freeze your crypto. While I won't go into full argument about that, I'll point out this article and this one, which offer different perspectives. If you read the articles, you must understand that being a laxist will not be a good choice. Oh, both Onion articles. And I agree. Well, I get the El Chapo comparison, but what I'm trying to say is that while you know where to start, you can't always predict where things will go. There's no guarantee you won't find yourself in a situation down the line where total privacy becomes essential. This is true. Oh my God, man. You don't know what's going to be illegal in 10 years. You don't know what's if cryptocurrency is going to be owning a cryptocurrency is going to be a crime. You don't know if encryption is going to go through the crypto wars like it did back in the 80s, 90s, whenever they were trying to make it illegal to use PGP, which is crazy. And that was only, 80, 90, 40 years ago, practically? 40 years ago, there was a legal battle up until I think the 90s or early 2000s when it was deemed like, all right, you're good, it's not illegal, because it was fucking bonkers that think about how short that time frame is ago. You know, people's hot mom was like fucking alive then. Just saying. That's why aiming for a full privacy from the start is not overkill. It is simply what it takes to actually get privacy. Either you get it or you don't on all layers. Yes, it takes time, more time than most people are willing to take for privacy, but it's how it is. That's normal. Influencers use privacy for their own profit. Money is a powerful motivation, and sadly, some influencers has let it override honesty. Instead of truly guiding people towards privacy, they promote tools or methods that serve sponsors rather than the community. In this case, privacy shortcuts are not mistakes; they're deliberate compromises made for profit. Here's an example with Think Security video. Online Privacy and Security 101. Protect your identity essentials for 2025. Why does this person look like they just smoked crack? I kind of want to see that video. Is this real? And there is an extreme level that you need to take.
I used to think identity theft was just one of those things.
What the fuck is this accent? I sound like a hater already. Jesus Christ, I hate this already. I hate this channel. Immediately seeing something like this, this just screams. How do they have 25K 25,000 followers. Oh, they've been around. The 6 most secure web browsers in 2026. Bro, this is how you know it is slop. They'll make a video 3 years ago, and they'll just, I don't know how they do it, but they'll update their titles to, it's something I think to do with SEO, and they will put it for a year later so that when you search for something, it will pop up. Blogs do this, it's fucking scummy. Websites do this, it's fucking scummy. YouTube channels do this, it's fucking scummy. It's shitty practice. Because 3 years ago, you're going to have a completely different perspective. So fuck sites that do this. How to remove a hacker from your phone? What the fuck? VPN hotspot setup. This is just some shitty. This is like a company that's probably doing this. This screams fucking network. ML. I think it's like multi-level networks that do this. How to hide your IP address. I want to find that specific video. Ooh, cringe. I'm cringing. 7x7. Is private internet access still safe? What a weird thing to say. Is it legal to use a VPN for gaming? Yes, your IP address, your ISP can see you using a VPN.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back, and just a quick video to inform you guys on how to use the Tor browser more securely. Now, the Tor browser itself is a browser that gives you access to the dark web, and of course, it will test encrypted IP address and servers of a VPN, a good VPN that is, to
Motherfucker uses Tor, but it has extensions. What a goober. This is a normie scam channel right there? Yeah, 100%. Now, the VPN versus Tor issue is 100%. There are people that have. I think people have explained at this point that you can use VPN with the Tor. It's just going to be slow. But there's almost no point in doing it. There's pros and cons. The Tor Foundation has done it. Information on it. Is this the video? Online privacy and security 101. Delete me is a scam. I never got the 101 part in things. 3 months ago. Why she look like she got her shit kicked in though?
Let's be honest, it's a little creepy knowing that your personal information is just sitting out there for anyone to find. I didn't really think much about it until I started getting...
Guys, if I ever do this and I ever take sponsorships, please, somebody mark this for the love of God. I've been compromised, and it's not me. It's a robot. It's a robot. It's not me, and I've been compromised. Wayland should be the only option for a display server, by the way. It's That's funny. NordVPN is calling people for sponsorship deals. Of course. Dude, their margins are probably crazy. That's why they'll pay so high. They're high, they're if I wanted to, so there's a YouTuber I watch that doesn't even do anything related to privacy or security. So them taking a VPN sponsorship is kind of weird, but it's not. I don't think it's a conflict of interest because they probably don't know what a VPN is. They're probably just an average user. They told me what they would get paid. They, like, not me personally, they told their audience what they get paid. It was like $10,000 like a month to run like a 3-month ad or something like that. It would give them like 30 grand because they only had like 40,000 subscribers or something. These VPN companies will hand over big dollars because they know their users are dumb. I would never take like I said, if I ever take a sponsorship deal, I've been compromised. Or it's not me, it's a robot. Yeah, this already screams 1,500 views somehow, but 0 comments. Even my worst video, yeah. That's a lot to turn down. They turned it down because they thought it was kind of shady, and they're right. It's shady. I don't think it was Nord. It was either Nord or one of the other big. It was one of the big VPN that you see all the time. Before we read the article, let's see.
Spam calls and emails, and that's when I realized my information was way more exposed than I had to protect my privacy.
Yep.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk all about Delete Me.
What?
Including how it works, what it costs, and if it's actually worth the price for keeping your personal information.
The problem with this is you have 1,500 views 3 months ago. You have 25,000 subscribers. You have 0 comments. That's fucking weird. And by the way, that $10K a month, by the way, for sponsorships like that, that's nothing. I've heard ludicrous stuff from people that are like in the influencer space. Would you take a sponsorship from Canonical to promote rewriting core utils in Rust? Yeah, that's the only one I'll take. If Canonical comes up to me and they say promote Ubuntu for a month, we'll rewrite all the core utils and everything in Rust, I'll gladly do it. The only one I'll ever do.
If at any point you want to check the...
I have to watch this in 2x. I really do. I'm like, this person's already irritating me and it's not even it's a 7-minute video. This is like at least they didn't do the 8-minute mid-roll ad shit that YouTubers are known to do. They'll extend stuff like to 8 minutes on purpose. God, I can't watch this.
Me out. I've got an affiliate link down in the description. It won't cost you anything extra, and you'll even get a discount that you wouldn't find on their website. And so without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so Delete Me, which was started back in 2011, is a service that helps remove your personal information from the internet. That content.
Yeah, but they just spam a bunch of your information to websites that might not even have it. This is like well known. That's the problem. It's well known that these deleting things, dude, and like $120 a fucking year. And again, it's not a sponsorship. It's not an endorsement. Easy opt-outs. That's all. I tried it. I like it. It works. They do a report every 4 months. It's $20 a year. And I'm not even telling people to fucking use it, because you could be handing out, but they don't spam stuff that doesn't have your information. So they say, and it's ran by 2 people. So it's less people that have your information. If you're that worried and you used to have bad privacy hygiene, Easy opt-outs. Do it your fucking self for the next year, and then continue to do it for yourself for your next year, the years to come, and scrub the internet. And falsify information. Like I said, falsify all the information that you are doing. We're going to get to the Ross Ulbricht in a minute. Don't worry. I have to...
It's designed to help keep your private information like your name, address, and phone number off.
There's other things you can do too. You can, besides faking your information if it's legal in the country that you reside in. This is like all things. This is Gen X guy. I just hate Gen X people for some reason. They're just honestly, Rob Braxman. No, don't please. I can't listen to him.
Let's be honest. It's a little creepy knowing that you're personal.
And all things secured. I am not a fan.
It's just sitting out there.
They're just like corporate, feeling website. Like they're just cringe. It's like watching cyber news but real life.
I'm not. Amy handles all the back and forth with the data brokers, saving you tons of time and trouble. It's an ongoing service too.
They had 7 minutes.
For families.
My God, this is like a 7-minute ad.
Compared to signs out there.
I can't do it. I thought it was going to be good. It says tools with an S. Oh. Yes, with an S. It's tools with a fucking S. Someone needs to sue this guy for false advertisement and hurting my eyeballs for watching it. Take a look at this video on Online Privacy and Security 101. Protect your identity. I hope I get put on this blog and they respect me and they say nice things. Because they know that my brain is huge. It promises to cover essential tools that will help you maintain your privacy online, but there's a problem when you click on it. You're expecting a variety of tools. Oh, me and privacy and the opsec Bible are on same par. We're on the same wavelength. Our minds are in sync. Instead, what you get is a 7-minute ad. Oh man, I didn't even fucking read. I didn't pre-read, guys. I'm cooking over here. Me and the opsec Bible are cooking. Our brains are in sync. We should collab with our minds because we are. Oh my God! I didn't even scroll this far. Holy shit! He already knows. He already knows that I think all things to security is a fucking giant ad read. Wow! It's like I've been saying this all along, and I didn't even read this part. This is new. I've read the opsec Bible, but not this. This is like updated. As of Q3 of 2025. OPSEC Level 1 Privacy. Guys. It's like they know. iPhone mistakes that ruin your privacy. For just one tool, essentially. Intro. Literally. And this was like August, 490 views, and it's only at 1,500. Pretty abysmal for a giant ad read and no comments, by the way. Kind of sus. Sounds like you generally, if you have that many subscribers and you have no comments and you have that many views, you paid for those ads. You either paid for those viewers or your engagement is just that bad, or you put it on every platform, people saw it and clicked off. I mean, I know all about that. People be clicking off my videos. Understandable though. I go into autistic ADHD rants. Those guys talk cyber privacy on a paranoid standpoint without actually showing any technical content on an actual computer. They just talk in front of the camera. So weird. Yeah. I think all things secured could be. I mean, they could have been educated. They could work in the. There are people that work in IT that are aware of how stuff works. It doesn't mean that they are privacy conscious. You can learn all of this in like a normal tech job. What is two-factor authentication? What is your What is your location giveaway? How does location services work? I mean, like, but again, Apple's a black box, so you don't really know what's being private. You don't know what's private. There's just some speculation from advertisers that say that they make less money from running their stuff on Apple with advertisement versus XYZ. I mean, this is public. I'm gonna have to check that out. Check what out? Check out all things secured. As you should. The title of this video is misleading. It promises a broad range of privacy tools, but it actually showcases a single tool designed to erase your online fingerprint. Here's the thing. The goal of true privacy isn't about erasing your fingerprint. It's about not leaving one in the first place. The idea that you can just erase your online presence is a myth. Once something is on the internet, it's there forever. This is somewhat true. If you have an online presence, the best thing you can do is how can someone send something based to you in an encrypted way? Do you still check Matrix? Yeah, I still check Matrix. I'm active in all my chats. The preferred method is to use my PGP key and encrypt a message and send it to me. Actually, it would be better if you want to. You can use my public PGP key. Send it to me in Matrix, so that it actually is encrypted. That would be the better option. But the question if it's based is, I'm always concerned, as long as it's not a file or anything. Like I'm on YouTube, so like I acknowledge that I'm violating some form of privacy perspective, but I'm also trying to reach people to a certain degree in hopes that they start stricting their privacy, strapping their belts, and finding out what works for them. I think that there is no GUI to help make app. Oh, AppArmor. No, there is none really. You were talking about AppArmor policies. It's all command line based. It's really not that hard if you. I mean, you could use Flatpak. Flatpaks are fine. There's a GUI for Flatpaks that's called FlatSeal. FireJail is hard. Don't use FireJail. FireJail, unironically, is worse. It worsens your security. It's garbage. Fuck FireJail. Don't use FireJail. It's garbage. Just use bubble wrap or bubble jail. Use this. It's called bubble jail. It's 100% legal. It's just a mini project I'm working on that I wanted to show you to know what you think about it. Yeah, of course, 100%. Where is it? I wonder if my PGP key has been posted a couple times. Nope. I was slightly memeing. Fuck. Yeah, don't, Bo Jackson, don't use fire jail, just FYI. Use bubble jail. A bubble wrapper based sandbox alternative to fire jail. Bubble jail is designed based on observation fire jail's faults. One of the biggest issues with fire jail is that you can actually run unused sandbox applications and not notice. This is the problem with fire jail. Bubble jail is far superior and easier to use. And you can actually use Flat Seal as well. I think Flat Seal has a GUI. How do you secure PGP key on Tails, I wonder? So your private key, you can keep it you can just separate it. You can take your private key and completely put it offline. This is something that Tails OS, not Tails, Split PGP. We're gonna get into this in a second. Split PGP Cubes OS. So you put a passphrase on your PGP private key. That's how you kind of do it. Damn it. It won't let me send it. Hold on. Can I do it in a smaller file? Via Chelsea? So you would look up that email in the public key server, which I post my PGP key to. My public key PGP to. And that's how you would find. I'm trying to find a good place to put it. But you can search public key servers and find my public PGP and then message me. On Element or Discord or whatever. But your private key, so there's for code, your private key is this is like essentially the safest way to do it. So Split PGPs implements a concept similar to having a smart card with your private key GPG keys, except that the role of the smart card is played by another. Cube's app Cube. This way, one not so trusted domain, e.g., the one where Thunderbird is running, can delegate all the crypto operations, such as the encryption and decryption and the signing, to another, more trusted network isolated domain. This way, the compromising of your domain, the Cockmail address, how to privately send your... Yes, if people want to send me a PGP message with PGP, that is where you're going to send the email. Tutanota does not support PGP. I no longer use Proton Mail, and Tutanota does not support PGP, so that is my compromise. I would not trust cock.il. I don't think that they're a reputable service. I don't think any email service is the highest reputable until it's tested in court. You shouldn't trust it, and if you're going to send an email, send it via PGP. This isn't a public email that I care about because I can just reject stuff and I don't really care. And I'm only going to accept PGP emails. So if I see someone send me a plain text, I just block it, ignore it, move on. But I would never put an email out there that I would be annoyed with sponsorships. But this is essentially how you would reach someone with PGP. I mean, you can do it in chat rooms as well. I'm just trying to make it known so in case people come across, this email, how does one get a Cockmail address? You just go to cock.il and get it. And then set up PGP. And if this provider ever ends up not working out, I can just take my PGP keys and change the email address. Doesn't really matter. But essentially, an easy way to shorten this, your work email, Cube's GPG client, and then your work GPG key. The keys lie here. They give you give it small amount of access, a time frame, a limited time frame, and it pretty much asks for permission to sign, encrypt a message, and then send. It's not connected to the internet. This is very easy to configure and set up. Very awesome. I've gotten it to work. It was kind of a headache. I had a question. I've had like 30 questions in the Matrix channel for Cubes OS. And it was essentially, kind of its own thing. Everyone is a criminal. Do you know the law? Unless it's your job, and even then, I assume you won't. You can't know the law. There's always something that might be overlooked that you can use against you. For example, if we look at U.S. federal law, there are more than 20,000 statutes in U.S. code, not including the thousands of federal regulations. Similarly, in Europe Union, there's over 20,000 legal acts. On top of that, you have to consider the law of each country within the EU. Yeah. Just so you know, this is an example of how impossible to know the law. The federal tax code regulations, over 10 million words in length. That is crazy to think about. Just put that into perspective. I don't understand how to-to-mail does not support PGP mail. It's just text after all. Because PGP can't encrypt the whole message. And because it can't encrypt the whole message, you essentially are giving a level of privacy away with PGP. PGP has some security issues, aka with like we can go over that like in its own separation of topic. But PGP has the inability to encrypt the entire mailbox. The problem is metadata and sometimes the headers can leave a lot of information. So because they can't reach this level of security, they think that PGP has security flaws, and they've talked about rewriting it, making it better, and making it more efficient. PGP has two good fundamentals. It encrypts things, and it's a way to kind of know that you're talking to someone through verification. Because if I'm posting something with my public key, like if I'm signing something, that means I'm signing it. Like I myself am signing it, and you can verify this. You can go look at it. Only I can sign it because I have the private key to sign it. Okay. In this video, influencer offer guides on improving your privacy. Phone yes, your iPhone from an Apple, the same company behind macOS. Once again, there's no true privacy with Apple products. However, if you take a closer look, you'll see that the video is sponsored by a cloud encryption solution. Offering privacy on a platform where it's practically impossible to achieve it is simply when you generate revenue. How did with 100,000 views. So, that's kind of like the reason. how to build your own VPN, how to keep photos private, how to add 2FA to iPhone, how to get a 2FA key. Given with this influencer's promoting, there's no surprise that videos like this appear, claiming that privacy is impossible to achieve, when in reality, it just requires some effort and then the right approach. And if you're wondering, yes, this is sponsored again. I quit online privacy. This is why. I'm fed up with privacy advocates who use an iPhone and software that isn't open source. I realize that I don't fit the extreme standard of privacy. I don't think that's fucking extreme, by the way. Not using proprietary software is not extreme. I think this is such a crazy take, though. But, by the way, I'm fed up as a privacy advocate who uses an iPhone software that isn't open source. I realize I don't fit the extreme standard of privacy and security. Here's what I have to say about it. Be sure to make import changes to secure accounts with a security key. Get a $5 off here. All things secured, YubiKey. YubiKeys, by the way, aren't open source. Just saying. If you use YubiKeys, it's not open source. It's cool what they do. I think it's better to have than it's not to have. They're not open source. OneKey's open source. NitroKey's open source. There you go. And they have one based on Rust. NitroKey's just fucking the shipping. The shipping's so expensive. I ranted and hated anything that's proprietary. I made fun of Fedora. We're still reading the opsec Bible. Sponsorships are kind of gay, and the only reason I would take a sponsorship is if Canonical reached out to me and said, hey, we'll sponsor you, and we'll turn all the core utils into Rust. Hi, what's up, brother? We talked about PGP and its problems, and PGP is based, but PGP has problems, and influencers are a problem. Sponsorships are lame. Monero, and that's about it. Yeah, they have an open. So NitroKeys, they're kind of they're inexpensive for what they are, but their shipping is fucking outrageous. So I use the Nitro key. What up, census? Emails, files, hard drive, secure. I've used it. It's awesome. You can actually use is Cock safe? What are the biggest things to understand from the OPSEC Bible? Cock.il is not safe. You shouldn't trust it. You shouldn't use it. If you think you should trust it, you should only send emails via PGP with it. And the biggest thing to understand from the OPSEC Bible is it takes an extreme approach, but you have to understand that everything is nuanced and it is threat model basis. If you understand the highest level, I think if you understand A through Z, in my opinion, if you understand A through Z, you know what's important, and it doesn't matter what gets leaked. Like if your name is John Doe and it gets leaked, no one fucking cares. It's John Doe. It's about what you. But I do agree. Once it's on the internet, it's hard to erase. It's almost near impossible. That's the internet. Encrypt emails with GNU PGP. You can actually use a hardware key to encrypt your files. If you want the most secure way to encrypt email, you get a hardware key that does it. That holds the private key. But no email is safe. You just gotta take it with a grain of salt. It's open source, complete USB plug, no backdoors, no NSA. It's open source. Plausible deniability, the hardware solution with hidden encrypted storage. This allows you to plausibly deny the existence of encrypted data. They're awesome. They have the passkey. They have a hardware secure module too. They're expensive, by the way. The Nitro Start key, the Nitro Storage key too. I don't know how their plausible deniability works, but they're not cheap. They're $100. They ain't cheap, baby. You can get the Start key for $30. I forget which one I got. I think I got this one. This one does firmware update. They have firmware updates. Some do, some don't. Tamper resistant smart card. They have FIDO passkeys. They do not do email and hard disk encryption, and it does not support OpenPGP, GNU PGP. It seems like the Nitro Start, the Nitro Pro Key 2, the Nitro Key 3 only support this. But God, if you've ever ordered anything from Europe, fuck that. Oh my God, the price. The price is insane. For the shipping. Might be different now. But if you want an open source solution, here it is, baby. It's there. So, update. September 2025. All Things Secure recently did a long interview with another creator, Sada Burritos, discussing Graphene OS. Oh, I didn't even see that. Graphene OS expert shares tips and discussing Graphene OS and presenting it live to the public. In the video, he also explained that his reasons behind switching to iOS to much better Graphene OS is clearly steps in the right direction that deserves to be noticed. They are not competent. Another reason why influencers can be privacy laxist is simply because they aren't competent enough to speak on the topic. They know it's an area that attracts interest. They decide to dive in and talk about it, but in reality, they don't fully understand the subject themselves. Microsoft stops spying. Cyber CPU Tech. Interesting name. The video promises you to make Microsoft stop spying on you when using Windows. How is that even possible when the software is closed source and only displays what Microsoft to show? It's not. And that's the fundamental point of this influencer is missing. We can see the same issue in this video of a Surfshark Academy. Oh my God, the Surfshark fucking Surfshark has got to be the Duolingo of fucking VPNs. They're everywhere. They suck. And if I see one more sponsor from them, oh my God. Yeah. Fucking hate Surfshark Academy can suck my balls. 10 WhatsApp tips for instantly secure your privacy. Yeah, that's not happening. Complete Mac OS. How to make your Mac private. They're not honest. Yeah, I mean, Naomi Breckwell had something. I think she does some good work. I think she's better than the other fucking cucks. But she has a pretty incorrect approach of how a lot of people think the ISMIE, these are like linking identifiers, and they're like, why can't we have them randomly change every time? Graphene OS developers have essentially pointed it out. If you have your IMEI changing or your ISMIE or whatever, I think the other one, changing constantly, it's a red flag. It looks weird. It makes you stand out because there's this identifier that's changing all the time. So it's just, there's no way, like having a phone and being private, the best way to do it is install Graphene OS. Use it if you need Google Play services. Use an email you've never used, and essentially like a Gmail you've never used. Is buy your Pixel with cash. Get your service with cash, and try to pay as in advance as possible, so you don't have to keep going in and paying. And don't to attach it to shit that knows who you are. And use progressive web apps. Progressive web apps are inherently more private because they're not constantly running in the background. And create separate profiles for different things. Again, if you're logging into your bank with a VPN, you are doing nothing. You're fucking your sister with a condom. So, there are EVLab Australian government advice on privacy. How do you feel about Proton Mail, and do you think that there's something better? This is my opinion on Proton Mail. I think they're better than Google. I think they are a better suite than Google. I do not like monopolies. I don't like techno monopolies. I think they do care about security, and I do think they care about privacy to a certain degree. That's my personal take. I do not like that they rely on Google services. I don't like that they are an all-in-one solution. They do a lot of advertisement, which is inherently tracking. They do a lot of sponsorships, which is somewhat of inherently can be tracking if there's a link that leads you to the product. And if you have an affiliate link, all these affiliate links, all these sponsorships, and all these, you're all over the internet. I got to roll. Awesome stream. Once again, thank you, man. Have a nice day. Appreciate your code. Hope you have a good night, too. I'll see you in the next one. I think having all that can be somewhat problematic. I don't care that they're in Switzerland. Swiss privacy doesn't fucking mean a thing to me. They're a company. They're not going to fall on the knee of they're not going to fall on the sword for a user. They're going to kneel to the government because they want to operate as a business. They're a business. I think Tutanota is, in my opinion, in my use case, in my section, they're better. They don't run ads because ads are forms of tracking. They have pretty good understanding of privacy and security. They rejected PGP because they think that there's fundamental privacy and security flaws with it. And they said they will incorporate a way to use it maybe in the future if they can find a way to make it work better. They are committed, I think, on a list to remove JavaScript, which would be based, so that they could be Libre.js compliant. That would be even more based. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And again, email isn't the most private thing, but you have to remember, email is decentralized. This is something that people don't talk about, and I've thought about for a long time. Email is inherently decentralized. You can bring your own domain. You can own your email domain, and email is pretty much unblockable at this point. A lot of countries rely on it. And because email is decentralized in its nature, you have a censorship resistance, a form of communication where you can incorporate PGP, or a form of, the more users that switch to Tutanota, the more private it is, because they do end-to-end encrypted by default. They found a way to encrypt the whole mailbox. It's competition. It's email competition. I want competition. I want an email that doesn't spy on me and sell my personal data. That's the important part. I don't care about the user interface that much. They're not trying to add a different all-in-one app. They're not trying to add we made a 2FA app. Oh, we made a cryptocurrency wallet app. Oh, we made this. This is my problem with Proton, is they want to keep making shit and not finish the shit they're already fucking doing. Tutanota still hasn't released a drive, and they could. They probably could release a Tuta drive and just make money and charge more, but they want to focus on things that actually work and incorporate things that actually work. And you got to remember, they rewrote the entire email structure. Email wasn't built for privacy. This is why you can't encrypt a lot of things in it, because it's just a legacy system that's made. So it's very difficult. So they're redoing a lot of things, and they're trying to make, it's kind of like Signal. Signal is encrypting every layer of the cake. So when something comes out, they're like, how are we going to do this? Like, how are we going to make this efficient? So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Noted. Thanks. Yeah, not a problem. I think, and they don't use notification. They rewrote their note to touch on the note again. They rewrote their notifications. They don't use Firebase. They don't use any Google backend to send even notifications. So keep that in mind. That's why it works pretty well on Graphene OS. Another reason, I don't have to use a separate unified push service. I don't have to use anything else. They rewrote their notification service to make it private and work without Google. So that's just another thing. What's the name of them? Tutanota. Or Tuta. I think they go by Tuta now. Whatever the fuck. Because they go by Tuta now, they were Tutanota and then they shortened it to Tuta. I don't know why. They have a reason and they explain it, and I'm just like, okay. Tuta? No, Tutanota. Thoughts on Rise Up email? I think they stopped doing invites. They're just, they don't do like JavaScript. The invite only is kind of lame, but I get it. And they're kind of super politically motivated. I tried checking on public servers, your PGP public key. It doesn't. You might be being dumb. It's okay. I published it. Hold on. Try checking on public. I'm on I forget which public server I put it on. Maybe I can do this. Do you know? No, I don't. I thought they stopped. Okay, I can post it here. Cool. via Chelsea. If you can read it that way, that would be the best. Or just go on my Twitter profile. It's on there. I don't know why it's not. I mean, it should pop up in the key servers. I don't know anyone with the invite code. I've never tested it out. I kind of wanted to check out. So, I would say, thanks, pretty base of you. Yeah, no problem. I think PGP has some malice to it. It's just there are issues with it, and they have to be known. The issue is like privacy is so like some people in the privacy space are so fucking like they're like no, only use this, only use this. Like I don't like System D, and I don't want to use System D, and I don't like Debian, and people are like, but Debian guys. How is it possible in 20... but Rise Up, no, I'm not. Not only that, like, the invite only is kind of gay. You're kind of, like, gatekeeping privacy. I get why they probably do it, but you're kind of gatekeeping it. It'd be like if, like, Signal had invite only. I agree. So, back to privacy laxism. I agree that using a VPN is a good first step. However, it's far from enough. That's true. And it's exactly why governments are recommending it without offering any further guidance. It's a way to make people feel like they're doing enough while missing the bigger picture. Another example is this one. A tough one. Is the following video from Fix369. How do you use secret conversations on Facebook Messenger? Yeah, why the fuck would you do that? 300,000 fucking views. Crazy! How is it possible in 2024, with the videos released, to talk about privacy while using a Meta Power app? True! Everyone knows that Meta sells your data and heavily collaborates with the governments. This is true. And this can't be lack of knowledge competence. They actually, Meta... So, it's like VPN good, but there is a bigger picture. Famous examples. Actually, Meta. There's a good example. Meta did a collaboration with the U.S. government while to catch a terrible person, a person that I'm not really feeling bad about. They collaborated with them to compromise. I think something in Tails that pretty much leaked enough information for them to get caught. Rise Up feels so gatekept. It's just it's kind of gay, honestly. But I think they probably do it because they do it for free, and I'm assuming they do it because they do it for free. They don't want to expend their resources, their costs, and everything. So, I'm assuming that's my assumption because nothing is free, and it's either money or effort. So essentially, Facebook collaborated with the federal authorities to compromise something with Tails. So that's essentially what it is. They collaborated with federal law enforcement. They compromised something on TSOS and leaked the guy's information. He got caught. He went to prison for a long time. Game examples. Here's some examples of products that were heavily promoted by influencers. Only later revealed that it's dangerous. The goal of this section is to highlight how influencers getting a milkshake. Nice. Actually based. Hopefully it's chocolate milkshake. Chalky milkshake, brother. The logs that F-Secure Freedom keeps can be traced back to its users. What we collect, F-Secure Freedom. What the fuck is that? The data we process for the purpose of data analytics, including the device identifier, relations between device. F-Secure Freedom. What the fuck is that? Oh. Several tech influencers, including TechCrunch, promoted F-Secure Freedom VPN as a secure and reliable option. However, in 2020, reports revealed that F-Secure had misled its users. No shit. Kind of random, but how do you see world becoming in the next 5 to 10 years? That's a good question. Probably terrible. Probably not a good place. I mean, I'm a pretty optimistic person, but I will say that it's probably look. But I'm like to be realistic. Probably not. Probably not a good time. Yeah, every day we get a step closer to cyberpunk dystopia than with some. We get closer to cyber punk dystopia. We can get to cyberpunk dystopia, but at least we have emojis and 4 installment pays. So it's like, hey guys, we get cyberpunk dystopia, but we get afterpay. What's the afterpay shit? It's like afterpay sizzle, or we guys get 4 easy installments with your $500 dollar VPN Nord subscription, paid in 3 different subscriptions of $499.99 or whatever. And don't forget, hot moms in your local area. We collect data. We proper data analytics. We collect identifiers relating to the between devices, users, environments, license types, trial period. Goddamn. Influencers such as Unbox Therapy and Brownlee promoted Huawei phones, specifically the Huawei P30, as worthy alternatives to Samsung and Apple, highlighting their cutting-edge technology at a low price. Later, it was uncovered that Huawei has its close ties to the Chinese government, referring fears that the device could be used for state surveillance. Experts warned that these phones could potentially be exposing and spying on users. Fucking no shit. Yeah, why the fuck would you? I mean, there are phones that, like, sell you ads, and they get lesser updates and everything, but they sell you ads. Doorbell videos can be obtained by law enforcement without warrant. This is fucking true. This is crazy. Popular tech influencers like Linus Tech Tips and Unbox Therapy endorse Ring Doorbell and Amazon Smart Doorbell, an essentially user-friendly home security device marketed as a reliable solution to home protection. It was later revealed that Ring has significant security flaws, true, including weak encryption protocols, left users with vulnerable hacking. Reports of unauthorized access to users' accounts surfaced in 2019. A hacker gained control of Ring cameras using it to spy on users, including their children. Also, the privacy guides. In addition to influence privacy guides through videos, there are numerous websites that claim to help people achieve privacy through guides, yet exhibit laxism. Here's a few examples. So here, PrivacyTools.io is presenting their choice for the best privacy software service in 2025. Top 11 picks. If you look closely at these tools, you'll see notes they have selective start mail as one of their recommendations. First choice for privacy email accounts, user-friendly web client, AOC 10 gig email storage. As Proton Mail gradually shifts towards becoming a KYC product, it's easy to feel relieved that they have new options in Start Mail. But there's a catch. If you visit StartMail's website and take a closer look, you'll see that most of the code is closed source, with open source components being limited to infrastructure related code only. So you basically can't know what they're tracking or not. Open source versus closed source software. The 10 best online privacy tips. I think that's why Privacy Guides exited, because they said that privacy, here, cloudwards.net provides the 10 best online privacy tips, which could be useful for those looking to improve their privacy. Here's a summary of it. Use a private browser to prevent tracking. Sign up for data removal tool. Use an ad blocker. Be mindful of what you post online. Use a virtual private network. Use a password manager. Update your software. I decided to take a closer look at the two sections that are often more lax when it comes to privacy advice: the OS and the VPN. Since they don't even mention the OS, which could be a basic part of these kinds of lists, let's focus on the update your software device regularly, fix security weakness. Yeah. I think somebody said PrivacyTools.io got it, like, pretty much just became a giant ad, and because they became a giant ad, people said you pretty much shouldn't trust them, and I kind of agree. They did become a giant ad. Like, they're pretty bad. Use a VPN. The most advanced VPN in my... God, VPNs are so... God. The key takeaways: Nord, Surfshark, Express, cyber goes, and private internet access. Fucking lame. Why closed source software a big mistake? As we've discussed earlier, much of the privacy laxism comes from people trying to achieve privacy using closed source software, corporate software. This is a major issue when we consistently emphasize open source is the only real path for achieving a decent level of privacy, sense of privacy. Source. Okay, which websites was using? Okay, blah blah blah. All right. Where is it? Motherfucker 41. I'm back. More onion opsec. More onion opsec. So Roger Albrecht was an American who operated an illegal darknet market, Silk Road, from 2011 to 2013 until he was arrested. Silk Road was an online marketplace that facilitated the trade in narcotics and other illegal products and services. Sales were anonymous using Bitcoin, obviously the worst decision that you could make that we know now. Maybe back then this was like less of an issue. It operated as a hidden service on the Tor network. Albrecht ran the site under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts after the fictional character from The Princess Bride, which is kind of an interesting interesting fact I did not know. In October of 2013, the FBI arrested Albrecht and took Silk Road offline in 2015. He was convicted of engaging in continuing criminal enterprise, distributing narcotics means by the internet, and conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit traffic and fraudulent identity documents, and conspiracy to commit computer hacking. He was sentenced to a double life in prison plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. This is the part that the average user does not understand in America. I just want to do a mini rant. When somebody says you are getting life in prison without the possibility of parole, you are getting life in prison. It is not 20 years. It doesn't mean you get released in 20 years. And parole does not mean you get released. That is why the judge can say you have a 10-year sentence. You have a 19-year sentence. You have a 21-year sentence. Life means you're going to prison for life, unless you get pardoned. Double life imprisonment plus 40 years means you are dying in prison. There's no question. But again, the common person in America is retarded. It's right here. Life imprisonment is any sentence imprisonment which the convicted individual will remain incarcerated for the rest of their natural life, with or without the possibility of release. Crimes that result in life imprisonment are considered extremely serious and usually violent, meaning this motherfucker. And the thing is, people say he murdered somebody or he tried to murder people. That's why he didn't get charged with it, because there's no evidence that he tried doing this. How do you even get a pardon? I mean, personally, I think it was a political move. He could have got pardoned in 2017. He didn't need to get pardoned now. He could have got pardoned from any president at any point in time. I think it was just a political move. I don't think they actually gave a fuck. Because the Libertarian Party was like, free Ross, free Ross, free Ross. Because they cosplay politics a lot too. I mean, we don't really have a Libertarian Party in America. They're a bunch of pussies. I promise. Talk to a lot of them. They a bunch of bitches. They a bunch of fakes. They'll wave the flag, but they will kneel to the police. How much Bitcoin do you think he has? Oh God, I think he donated like 40,000. He's got to have a lot. Why does Wikipedia tell me he's a Boy Scout? That's like unnecessary information. Dude, he was a Boy Scout, guys. Just to let you know. And then he ran a drug empire. Pretty much on October 13th, he got caught with all these things. The Libertarian Party and Free Ross movement, Albrecht's appeal in the U.S. Court appeals to the Second Circuit. In 2017, the U.S. Supreme Court in 2018 were unsuccessful. After serving 12 years, he was released from prison in January 2025 when he received a full unconditional pardon from the U.S. President Donald Trump. He's got to have a lot, though. He's fine. He's financially fine. Crazy, he's 41. He looks terrible. And he's got a wife? That's crazy. If that is his wife from the beginning and she never left him, that is a good wife. That is a fucking G. He was born in Austin, Texas. He was a Boy Scout, attained the ranking of the Eagle Scout. That's a weird information, just tell me. He attended University of Texas, Dallas on a full academic scholarship and graduated in 2006 with a bachelor's degree in physics. That's crazy. He could have been a physics professor. This is the real life Walter White, guys. He studied crystallography. By the time Albrecht graduated from master's degree program, he became interested in the libertarian economic theory and adhered to the political philosophy of Ludwig von Mises, supported by Ron Paul, promoted agorism. It's actually insane how much BTC he probably has. It's probably an insane amount. He should switch to Monero, though. Supported Ron Paul, promoted agorism, and then participated in the college debates to discuss his economic views. He graduated from Penn State in 2009 and returned to Austin. He tried day trading and started a video game company, but neither ventured success. He eventually partnered with his friend Donnie to help build an online used bookseller, Good Wagon Books. My wife left me after a night in drunk jail. R.I.P. my brother. This lady stayed with him while he was in prison for 12 years. Don't worry, the neighbor kept her fine. It's okay. Palm Tree co-founder Good Wagon Books eventually moved to Dallas, leaving Albrecht to run the bookseller by himself. Around this time, Albrecht began planning Silk Road, immediately calling it Underground Brokers. In his personal diary, he outlined the idea for a website where people could buy anything anonymously with no trail whatsoever and could lead back to them. GG's code. Yeah, GG. Guys, he's going to start hitting the gym. Can you look up the MT GoX shit? What the fuck is that? I mean, I'm creating an account. He said something about the I wanted an idea. I remember the idea. He had something about this. Oh, hold on one minute. Where people could buy anything anonymously. Okay. Albert's ex-girlfriend said, I remember when he said he had the idea. He said something about the Silk Road in Asia, where big network, it was, and that's what he wanted to create. So he thought it was perfect name. Albert alludes to the Silk Road on his public LinkedIn page, where he discussed his wishes to use economic theory as a means to abolish the use of concurrent and aggregation amongst the mankind. The fuck? Emoji? I'm creating an ongoing solution to give people a first-hand experience of what it would be like to live in a world without the systematic use of force. Silk Road ran as an onion service on the Tor network, which implemented data encryption and routes traffic through immersion. Damn, you're up late. Yeah, I'm doing a late stream. I can't sleep because I've had too many brewskis. By hosting his market on the Tor site, Albert could conceal the server's IP address and thus its location. Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, was used for transactions on the site. While Bitcoin transactions were recorded in public ledger called the blockchain, users who could avoid linking their legal names to the cryptocurrency wallets were able to conduct transactions with considerable anonymity. Interesting. The arrest is kind of interesting, but I will look up the MT GoX shit. I don't know what that is. I'm not entirely familiar. Law enforcement broke Silk Road's cover in a number of ways. A drug agency investigator infiltrated the site and became an admin, gaining inside information about the site operations. He found Albert's chat showed specific time, narrowing down his likely location. Law enforcement seized a Silk Road server in Iceland. Albert was connected to Dread Private Roberts by Gary Alford, an Internal Revenue Service investigator working with the Drug Enforcement Administration on the Silk Road case. In mid-2013, the connection was made by linking the username Altoid used during the Silk Road's early days to announce the website, and a forum posted which Altoid posted under the nickname Altoid, asking for programming help, and gave him his email address, which contained his full name. Remember, it's always these fuckers that give their full email address with their full first and last name. God, quit using your full name with your email address that you do illegal stuff with. You're making it too easy. It's crazy how Russ got caught in San Francisco library using public Wi-Fi. That's not the only reason. MT GoX can suck their own. It's not because of public Wi-Fi. They kind of figured out who it was, and it was because of a fight. But we're going to get to that. To prevent Albert from... The connection was made linking the username. Okay. The FBI arrested Albrecht at the Glen Park branch of the San Francisco Public Library and accused him of being the mastermind behind the site. Must be a fetish. There's no fucking way. To prevent Albert from encrypting and deleting the files on his laptop he was using to recite, he was arrested. 2 agents pretended to be engaging in a quarrel to cause a commotion. Once Albright was significantly distracted, according to Josh Berman of The Wired, several agents quickly moved to arrest him while another agent grabbed the laptop, handed to the agent Thomas Kierman. Kierman then inserted a flash drive into the laptop's USB port with software that copied the key files. Albright was held without bail. See, pretty much motherfucker got caught. You see, if you would have had a buzzkill or court proceedings and why buzzkill is so important in public. Do you not know what? Are you saying why it is, or like you don't know? Do you know what? You don't know what buzzkill is? MT Goax. I'm gonna look at this, not on screen, real quick. I need motherfucking English. Was the largest trading venues. Oh. Okay. I thought this was going to be some illegal shit. Alright, we can look at it. I know what it is. Emphasizing. Oh, how. Yeah. It's super important. It's actually like. You should care. And use it. I was one of the victims, but of course I deleted my crap. You're... Oh, is this a victim thing? Is this like a known thing? Is this like a known thing that happened? It's a long story. Your wife left you? MT Goax KK was one of the world's largest trading venues for BitConnect. Is this a BitConnect thing? BitConnect. Hold on. I need to do the meme. I don't know why BitConnect lives rent-free in my head, but... What? You've never seen the bit? You've never seen the BitConnect meme? Oh my god. Hey, BitConnect! What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? That's XRP guy. No, this is the BitConnect guy. It's for Bitcoin. This guy like took out loans. His wife looked like she would his wife looked like she wanted to kill herself because he made so much money. And then he's like, "Nah, man, BitConnect." BitConnect was fucking stupid. BitConnect could be like its own video. So, was the largest trading venue for Bitcoins. It was opened in 2009. It was a swap space for trading cards. What happened to that guy? He disappeared or he went to jail. One of the two. I can't remember. Disappeared or went to jail. You never, God. So let's see. Trading cards found convenient converted into Bitcoin exchange in 2000. Converted into Bitcoin exchange in 2010, and quickly became one of the most important competitors in Bitcoin trading. In 2013, 60% of the world's Bitcoin trading volume was broken through this platform. On February 2014, the company filed for bankruptcy in a Japanese district court. What the fuck? Don't fall asleep this time. No. I'm just confused about this. Users had two accounts with Mr. Goax, a Bitcoin account, and an account with money from the currency assigned to the user profile. Money could be transferred to the latter, for example, by bank transfers, and then the former by a Bitcoin transfer to a signed Bitcoin address. That sounds terrible. Yeah, wow. A maximum price could optionally be specified when purchasing. Yeah, it sounds terrible. It's really used as a trading platform for trading cards. The game Wow, they had to ruin Magic the Gathering? That's crazy. That's kind of ass, actually. Yeah, yikes. That sounds terrible. Hmm. I'm guessing there were scams. Yeah, of course. There's tons of Bitcoin scams. Huh. That's crazy. Yeah, that doesn't look like a good time. So essentially, Ross Ulbricht got caught because he didn't have good opsec and he didn't have buzzkill. The same. We're going to talk about session real quick. I wouldn't endorse session, but they're kind of making a W move, but they did just get funding from Ethereum, so I don't know. And it's Australian. See ya, I have to speedrun study MS TypeScript. Boo! And on my free and open source Rust-based Z code editor based before Next.js days. Boo! Meeting. So session, protocol version 2. Okay, session protocol version 2, perfect forward secrecy, post-quantum, and the future of private messaging. Since its inception, Session has provided a unique offering in the privacy landscape, onion routing, decentralization, and no phone number requirements. However, Session's contributors still listen closely to power users and the broad security community to discover ways which in Session can further improved. I'm going to try and sleep now. Later. Night, Jay. Appreciate you stopping by. Get some good rest. Appreciate you. Session can further improve the feedback from community has constantly focused on a few key areas. Session needs perfect forward secrecy to better protect historic messages if a device is compromised. Session should implement post-quantum cryptography to protect messages against the attacker who stores messages now and later breaks traditional cryptography schemes using quantum computer. This is true in a sense because this is what the government does. Store now, decrypt later kind of thing. Session should implement better visibility of linking devices so users can ensure that all devices are linked to their account properly, authorized, and read to send messages. Session contributors have taken the feedback on a broad and have been working on designs for an upgrade to the Session protocol. The upgrade addresses each point raised by the community while maintaining the user's experience. Session users have come to exploit, including easy multi-level device linking and syncing of messages between devices, simple process to recover session account and single recovery password if a device is lost, assure that all messages are delivered reliable and remain readable by all authorized linked devices. Today we are announcing Session 2 protocol version 2, a proposed upgrade to the Session protocol which seeks to re-implement forward secrecy, utilize a new post-quantum cryptography, and delivers improved device management features to ensure better visibility and authorization of linked devices. This is something that I've been critical of and have harped on, and I hope that they actually like implement and it's good, because I would like to go back to like maybe a session group chat or something for people that don't want to have any username or any association with them. The current session protocol is based around a single long-term key, LTK, and the long-term key is generated on device when a user creates a session account. Each message a user sends is end-to-end encrypted for the long-term key. How much is session with this update? What do you mean by how much? Oh, how much better? Perfect forward secrecy has been one of the key critical components that people have pointed out that is a flaw in them. They have gone back and forth saying multiple times that it is not a necessary concern, and in my opinion, they are wrong. In other people's opinion, they are wrong. In the security opinions, they are wrong. This is a problem because they didn't want to listen because they think that it is a better solution and it's not really a added feature. Another problem is they went away from the Signal protocol and decided to not roll their own encryption, like make their own, but roll their own encryption scheme that is based off an open source product, like an open source encryption standard. So yes, they use an open encryption standard, so that is not a L, but they went away from the Signal protocol, which is kind of like the gold standard, which is an L, but that is more of a personal preference. So I like that they went to this perspective. I don't like the oxen thing. I think they should have picked Monero out of anything. All messages are onion routed, and the Loki net's fucking retarded. So they made some improvements. They're making some improvements. If they implicate perfect word secrecy, and they commit to having better decision making when it's listening to the users, I think that it will be a viable option to move back to. But again, Australian based. And the Loki net's fucking retarded, like I said. All messages are onion routed, hiding the user's IP address and the network metadata from the session nodes, which temporarily store messages. Onion routing and adds another layer of ephemeral encryption, ensuring encrypted messages cannot be scraped by session nodes, acting as relays in the user's unused request path. However, version 1 session protocol is unable to protect against some highly specific attacks. For example, when attackers are able to run significant amount of malicious nodes in the system network, this is kind of like a 51% attack where they take all over. If post-quantum attacker stores encrypted messages today, later obtains significant powerful quantum computers, they could decrypt those messages in the future. This is commonly referred as harvest now, decrypt later attack. If the user's device is compromised in an attack and gains access to their long-term key, they can link a new device to the user's account without compromising a user of having visibility in the new device's link. It is important to note that these attacks are not currently practical. Quantum computers are capable of breaking traditional elliptic curve cryptography do not yet exist. This is true and will likely take many years to fully develop. Furthermore, an attacker on the session network that involves operating malicious nodes to store messages beyond the 14-day time to live would require significant resources. Each session node requires a stake of 25,000 SESH. An attacker would need to control a substantial portion of the portion of the network, 1,500 nodes. For such an attack would be viable. The attacker is further hindered by the fact that new nodes are assigned to swarms in a pseudo-random manner, that making it difficult for an attacker to place their nodes in specific swarm in order to scrape particular users' encrypted messages. Simply storing these encrypted messages does not break a session user's security. The attacker would also need to target and compromise the user's device to gain access to their long-term key, making such stored data useful. They don't realize that the government has unlimited money, so it doesn't really matter. The money part is never the issue. When it's nation-state activists or adversaries, they don't need to care about money because money in their head is not real. They have an unlimited budget, and they technically do. They can just keep handing them money. That's the point. Perfect forward secrecy. The largest change in the V2 version 2 protocol will be the addition of perfect forward secrecy. As previously discussed, Session Protocol 1 does not achieve forwarded secrecy currently. All messages are encrypted under the same long-term key, and the key does not rotate unless the user creates a new session account. This was a problem. Session initially launched with perfect forward secrecy, inherited from the Signal Protocol based, but Signal Protocol was later depreciated in Session due to the insignificant issues it created for users. With multiple linked devices during the time it was enabled, Session users frequently raised issues with sent messages not properly syncing between linked devices and failed to decrypt state, messages received from other generally failing to decrypt, accounts recovered via the user's recovery password not properly recovering messages. These issues from the fact that Signal Protocol was not designed for the use of decentralized network and has very limited support for linking devices. To this day, Signal only supports up to 5 linked devices, 1 primarily mobile device, and up to 4 linked device desktop devices. The Signal Protocol is designed to depend on centralized servers to help set clients publish their pre-key builds and keep ratcheting keys in sync between linked devices. Based on this, it's clear that a new protocol is needed. One that takes cues from the Signal Protocol, still a strong choice in terms of encryption and security, but is designed for decentralized network like Sessions, and resolve the challenge of supporting many linked mobile devices and desktop environments. The V2 solution. Early designs in the Session Key version 2 protocol introduced a few new concepts to resolve these issues. Instead of relying solely on a permanent long-term key for each account to encrypt and decrypt all messages, accounts will establish a set of rotating keys based rotating key pairs to each lead device. Single rotating key pairs across linked devices per combination. Per device, keys are stored on each device, and the underlying private keys are never shared between linked devices. When a pair device of key rotates, the old key is deleted after a period of time, meaning the device is compromised. Attackers cannot decrypt the previous stored messages, as those keys have been rotated and no longer exist. Per account keys would be kept in sync between the linked devices, and these keys would be used by others to send encrypted messages from your account and subsequently all of your other linked devices. Future-proofing post-quantum linked devices, the bottom line. It seems like Session is making some W's. I would still wait till version 2 comes out, maybe some testing, and I'll do some testing with it. I haven't touched Session in a long time. I do think that, again, with the protocols that do exist, like Session and Threema and Signal and SimpleX, we don't need more messaging apps. We just need the current messaging apps to do better so we can have better choices. You know, that's my thought process. In perspective, but, you know, that's just how I look at it. Alright guys, I have given you 2 hours and 54 minutes and 43 seconds of my time. I appreciate everyone that has stopped by, commented on the video, put their thoughts in. argued about what's the best desktop environment. Most importantly, make sure you comment on the videos so that YouTube knows that I am a real person, not a robot in the bunker. And I appreciate everyone. Hope you all get a good night's sleep. Remember to dream about $4 million, 36 cents, and 329 pennies, and exactly to the T, and to feed your snail.